Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Founding Up's Uncharted Your Sidekick for Life, a podcast for navigating life's unpredictable journeys. I'm Natalie Peyton, joined by my co-hosts Dan Dillard and Dr. Leon Vanstone. Together, we dive deep into the world of mentorship, career pivots, and challenges facing Gen Z in today's ever-evolving landscape. Get ready to explore some uncharted territory with us as we welcome our special guest, Mike Giordano, a trailblazer in the private aviation industry, who's here to share his unique insights on navigating career shifts, the power of relationships, and much more. Let's get started.
Welcome to Founding Up's Uncharted Your Sidekick for Life.
Love it.
Season 2, Episode 1. Woohoo!
Season 2, Episode 1.
So exciting.
We left off on a cliffhanger, so you're going to have to kind of like round that out.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So let's do some intros. Natalie, you want to start?
Hey everybody, I'm Natalie Peyton. I'm an actor, comedian, and podcast person, Natalie.
It only took you 12 episodes.
I know, to just get it, and I still
You
messed it
should
up.
And it's your
actually
name.
like kind of trademark that.
Okay, I will work on it.
And I'm Dr. Leon Vanstone, rocket scientist, storyteller, and entrepreneur. And of course, co-host.
You're really a rocket scientist?
Yes, for my sins.
Hmm.
Well, currently I'm, I suppose, an AI scientist, but, the rockets haven't changed much in like 60 years, so I think I'm so good.
And I'm Dan Dillard, also a co-host of Uncharted and co-founder of Founding Up, among other things. Just this gray didn't get this way for
Yeah,
not
them
doing
mutton
much.
chops have got stories.
I've
is that
got
it?
stories. And today we've got a special guest all the way from boom boom.
Well, I like to say Mars
Well, that's
because it starts more conversations, but
Yeah.
by way of New York.
Yeah.
Mars by way of New York.
First time listener, first time caller, Mike Giordano.
I love it. I love it. I do love that.
Oh, man.
So, Mike, as we were chatting, whole purpose of this is really this podcast is geared towards Gen Z. This is a whole generation that is, and there's 4 generations in the workforce right now, and this is the latest one to go in, and there's just issues that they're facing that we haven't faced, and so we're trying to be that sidekick for them and offer some mentorship, since mentorship has kind of changed our lives. And so we talk about that, and we talk about how to help. But in that light, we always get started with just kind of hearing the backstory. And so let's talk about what you do now and then how you got there.
So I've been blessed to stay in my lane. That's kind of hard to do in this sector that I'm in private aviation. So myself, 23 years ago, found this business before it really became a thing that every mom and dad knew. And so what we were able to do is take a fragmented product inside of private jets and trying to make money on a broken product is almost impossible. And that's what a private jet is, that people don't know behind the scenes. So luckily we know how to operate these aircraft. We're up to 37 now. But to answer your question on how I got started, again, back to why we're here, mentorships, right? If I didn't leave Wall Street where I was mentored to come onto the trading desk,
Yeah.
I would have never left Wall Street after 9/11 to make my way to Vegas. So through a mentorship that ended up not getting me to my career goal at the time, which was to stay on a trading desk. But after 9/11, a lot of things had happened in Wall Street, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
That mentorship to get me to the Wall Street career ended up putting me into another career that I didn't even know was about. Now here I'm 23 years later. So that's kind of cool on how a mentorship could take you from one place to a totally different direction. But at the end of the day, to go back to like what the business is, right? We manage a fleet of private airplanes. We're based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. So you have your usual suspects of other companies inside the space that need additional lift for their clients. So like a NetJet's planes breaks, they'll call our operations fleet to support that. Then being in Vegas, between the hotels such as the Wynn and Resorts World and Fontainebleau, their casino hosts charter these planes out to bring in the, i.e. whale gambler.
Nice.
So then we have that retail division, and then it basically supplements the amount of money it costs to own a plane.
Right.
So that's why you buy a plane tomorrow. You're like, Mike, I want to put it in Austin. I could supplement that lift of the cost per month for you to go back and forth to your trip to LA.
Right.
So now you're not paying for your fuel mentally because you're capturing $200,000 to $300,000 a month in revenue from that aircraft, because now I'm moving it from Austin up to Aspen.
Right.
And that's what the management side, my side, does.
Very nice. Very nice. So beyond that, because it's all about exploring, and one of the things, the message that's resounding with all our guests is that we never know what we want to do. We think we want to know. So before you even got into Wall Street, was that your, kind of childhood dream to go trade money, or was
no?
I
just think like as you evolve in high school, like you have to pick your, choose your poison, right?
Right.
If you're not good in sports, or you don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer, you got to pick some type of profession. Some guys trade baseball cards and comic books. I always liked equities. I like the charting. I like the technical side of the trade. I'm very good at it in my own right, in my own mind. It's, if I focused on it a little bit more, I probably would have owned a plane by now. But again, at the end of the day, that was not why I chose my career. I always believe your career kind of chooses you.
Yeah.
I had this personality of that old Vegas that the town needed, this almost very outgoing person like myself to shake down the tree, to open up the relationships in Vegas. It was a really hard city to break into because it was an old boys network similar to Texas. That took a lot of time, but once we got our footing, then we became the only people in town. So again, all paths don't always necessarily lead to where you want to go. I just got here by being luckier than smart.
Also, what I'm hearing in both of those sounds like relationships is big.
That's anything.
Right.
I mean, there's well, no, not this day and age. Honestly, I think relationships are fading like the way, our rocket scientist over here doing his AI stuff. I mean, the more and less communicative people are. Like, there were 55 people today in TSA in Denver, and like, ask me how much eye contact we each made.
Right.
Maybe 45 seconds max.
Right.
So I just think like relationships now more than ever, like real relationships, business. Like I don't go to see people, but I will text every single client on like a Sunday.
You are really good about that.
Like, I'm just on it.
Like, Mike and I met, I want to say 11 years ago on an airplane, actually, speaking of. And I was living in New York, but traveling back and forth between New York and LA. Mike was in New York. And one thing that you did for me, almost like a mentor, while I was breaking into acting, is we would have like weekly sushi lunches and you would check in on me and ask me, what did you do this week for your career? How did you move the goalposts forward for yourself? Like, what do you have to look forward to? And it was almost like strategy meetings, but
for yourself,
for myself. Yeah. And I'll never forget it. It was very, very helpful.
That damn sushi place closed during COVID.
Bummer.
Love that spot.
Yeah, I was in New York up in the 30s. Oh,
49th and Yama in second. Yeah, man, that spot was firepower. I would take her because like I wanted to, like, again, Natalie was in this realm of the actor world, right? Like of New York and all that stuff. So there's always that, kind of my relationship with anyone in that phone is like, I hate being cheesy, like Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of separation, right? But like there's not many through the career path that I've taken, through the mentors that I've taken on, right? A couple of my mentors are monsters in business, and I've just be the little, under that big shark is that little fish. Nothing wrong with hanging out down there.
Learned a lot.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's jump into some of these questions. I appreciate you being on the show and sharing some of that, because that's like, at the end of the day, the goal for Gen Z watching this is like to see just a different. Do
they watch on TV too? Oh, hi guys. I thought it was like a podcast thing where
it is. Some of them are also like on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything. I got no social media, so like I'm very private. So hello, everybody.
Even your jets are private.
That's what. Here's why I don't have like but here's why I don't have social. One of the reasons, right? If you're one of my clients and I have social, and now I have a picture of you and I and or whatever on the plane promoting it. Like there was some stuff during Super Bowl because Vegas became a hot spot and media picked up on a few stories that I was in, which is, I'm not mad at it. It's just not, I never wanted to become a brand.
Right.
Personally.
You don't want to be like a magnet for
I don't want to be like a real estate broker type, right? Like one of those $1 million listing guys. I probably should for business. I should just be like, you know what? I'm the original private jet guy. Here I am.
Right.
Here's all these clients. Here's all these planes, and it's like, but I think it just, the guys I want to deal with as an owner, like you're my client owning that plane, they don't want anyone knowing.
Right.
So that's why I've always been so private about it, because once I'm public, it's oxymoronic.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
So,
Well, you're on video now, so.
oh, hi.
All right, let's jump into this first question. That has to do with, I think, part of what you just mentioned or alluded to in this not talking to each other. So this is Austin. It's actually his name.
With a lot of what I feel affects me and my generation in general, it would be social media use. Sometimes I feel like my social media use often gets in the way of my schoolwork and just like being a cognitive human in general. So maybe if I would talk to a mentor about like, I don't know, like getting off my phone or like, I don't know, it sounds a little like just do it, you know what I mean? But there's something about that algorithm that just keeps my generation going back and like keeps us up at night for hours, So yeah, that's one of the big problems I face.
Yeah.
So that's a struggle. It's come up over and over.
Yeah.
And as I used to think it was just me as a parent. I've got a 21-year-old. Me as a parent was like, don't do that so much because it's affecting you. But my daughter says the same thing. And I've said this on the show before. My daughter at 21 says, my next phone, Dad, I want to be a flip phone. She just wants to break away from this addiction, but still the next minute you see her, she's on it again. So, but yeah, I think it goes back to what he said is like, it's not just do it. There's some sort of psychological, I think you mentioned it before. It's like this addiction that social media.
Well, like you understand this better than most, right? From the moment you set eyes on a casino in Las Vegas,
Yep.
right? All the way up to your journey to its front door, all the way in through its front door, all the way up to that reception desk and the entire experience beyond. Every single one of those moments is heavily curated by a whole team of people. There's tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars behind it to make sure I do the next thing, to do the next thing, to get on a table, to get on to get a drink, to get a dinner.
Well, I was at the Nantucket project last fall. And Frances is a whistleblower to Facebook, and she won the big lawsuit against Zuckerberg and everybody. And she testified in Congress. She was there, and I speak to her daily now as just consultant on some technology investments. But Frances, when she started speaking out against Zuckerberg specifically and Instagram, because they're using the same algorithm that, going back to your thought on the casino gaming, the gaming app, like your sports app, right. They're doing that on it so that when you're seeing certain things, the phone is completely looking at everything you see. So I think it's unique. I couldn't get my hands on one with all my damn connections, but Kendrick Lamar has a phone. It's a simple phone. All it does is have the time and phone calls and text.
Right.
And I wish I could have one of those. But then a day like today, when there's weather delays in my business and pilots are texting me and our team, I'm laying in a hotel suite. So choose your poison. Do you want to go back to 1985 and I have to I couldn't be on this trip. I couldn't see you guys in Austin today. In Denver, I would have had to stay and wait for the fax. So what you got to pick which one.
Yeah.
I think this phone is an addictive, disgusting device, but at the same time it's also a cash register. It's also a time machine. I push a button, a car shows up for me in 10 minutes.
Right.
I could go anywhere in the world by scrolling and buying a flight.
Yeah.
So think about that. So you got to be careful. I don't know. I have a 7-year-old daughter and she has a phone for photos because I want her to take photos. She knows she can call daddy if she needed to, but some of her friends are texting already on their parents' phones, not on their personal phones. I think that's just dangerous. Yeah, I'm very, very old school when it comes to certain things like that. It's like, you gotta save. But then there's Duolingo, right? Can my daughter learn Spanish or French before she gets to third grade because of this amazing app?
Right.
So again, it goes back to what's good, bad, ugly. I think it's never going to be Norman Rockwell 1950 United States of America ever again, or anywhere else in the country, right? Or the world, I should say, because of technology. But how do you... I just think you got to self-regulate it. Like,
well, we don't let children go and gamble, and at the same time,
yeah, but that's way different. You don't let them go, but you are gambling. It's actually
well, but it's sort of the same level.
If you want to we could pivot off of that. That's actually great. Go to Roblox, right? I guarantee you that 13-year-old kid spent $50 last week without his mom or dad knowing. It is like a gambling thing.
Yeah, loot boxes.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, so Roblox is like a game like Minecraft or something, and this did just happen. Somebody that I know's nephew just spent $2,000 on like add-ons to the game.
Like, these little characters.
And it should have been regulated. The parents didn't know they had to, but now they're like, so his punishment was so clever, I think. It wasn't $2,000, but they took away his whole piggy bank with however much, let's say there was $50 in it, but his soul was so crushed. And he's working off the 2,000, I think. But it is, they have access to these accounts. And
it's bonkers though, because like if you went to like DraftKings and you tried to gamble more than you had, you can't do it, right? But then your son or daughter steals your phone, goes to Roblox, and just rips through the credit card, which could be Amex and
because you need a credit card to have an account.
Right. Yeah. So there's gambling there.
Well, Roblox is our sponsor today here at the show. So if you don't know, now you know. Roblox, you're sending us a check.
No, I do think, and we've addressed this question before, and this is the first time I've heard it that way from like, there's a lot of positive in the phone. It does come down to self-compliance, self-control. And that's maybe the message here. What he's saying is like, I think the rest of this, if I remember that interview, he was saying, I'd like to know what Zuckerberg does to get into my brain, because like, what's that algorithm like? Like, how does it make me do this?
Well, it learns from itself. The thing's he can answer. He's a doctor.
I'm not a social media scientist. Well, I think part of the problem as well, right? The reason you don't let children gamble, beyond the obvious problems with money and debt, is that children are impulsive. Gambling is incredibly effective against adults, let alone when you bring children in who are not good at impulse control. The phone is really all the same algorithms, all the same ideas that get used in all these other betting things and casinos or whatever else, right? From the moment my phone goes ding, and I have a notification and I get sucked into something, it's there to get me on the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. You got a notification from so-and-so, but here's 10 other things you should watch. And I think the problem is you come in as a child, you have no there's no part of your brain that regulates that. That next dopamine hit, great. Next dopamine hit, great. And so you get sucked into this phone. Basically one of the largest gambling experiments we ever did was give a ton of millennial smartphones and watch what happened as they grew up with gambling, basically, right?
No, it's crazy. I mean, like I was in the gym yesterday in Aspen, and a lot of kids. It's Sunday, so they must have been, 14 to 16, these guys, and they're in the hot tub. And they're full on like preparing for college football gambling. Like, we're going to put this with this with this. I'm like, wait, guys, slow down. I need to hear this because you guys are so young. You've been studying this all. So I just think the gambling addiction inside of youth is so bad, and no one's talking about it because there's so much other noise right now. It's just so easy. Like, a high school freshman shouldn't know what a money line is.
Well,
I didn't know what a money line is when I was in freshman high school.
Yeah.
For those
I don't know what a money line is.
You want to tell people who are listening?
How old am I?
For the money line.
No. Oh, a money line is like, let's just say you and I are going to play basketball tonight outside in the parking lot, best of 21. You're better than me. So Natalie would have to give $200 to win $100 if you were negative 200 in the money line. So you're that good. So
kind of like the handicap in golf, maybe.
Yeah, same thing, but a money line. And there's certain sports and certain events that are no money line. That's no way. We're not taking that risk. So.
And there you go. And now you know. You taught a rocket scientist something today, man.
I did. I mean, hey, that is I think we mentioned the Win once and Fountain Blue. Those are other advertisers were coming at you guys.
One of the things we were talking to someone earlier today that they decided to take their kids to homeschool.
Yeah.
And it
I was about it for 34 seconds, and then you got to go back and know. And have you ever kids who have been homeschooled?
Yeah.
Have you met kids that haven't been homeschooled? Because the current is they're all. COVID was the largest homeschooling experiment, right? Like they're all homeschooled.
But I'm just saying, like, go back to like the one homeschool guy. Like, we're all the same.
I think it's different, but she made a really good point about it. She's like, I'm doing it for safety, and it's not the kind of safety you're thinking about. The guns, all that. It's the fact that kids have these phones and then go into a bathroom and just show and traumatize.
I understand. I agree with that.
Other kids and you have no control as a parent or as a teacher.
Yeah, even if your kid's phone is on total lockdown.
Or no phone.
Right, no phone. The kid sat next to them can have full iPhone, whatever, right?
They even like the movies, right? Like Stella went to a movie the other day. I was like, well, I don't think she should have saw that yet.
Right.
And like, well, the other kids went because the older brother, they had older brothers. So then all the other young kids are being brought up with the older, no.
Right.
Keep the older kids away from the younger kids.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It just is going to happen.
Well, but I mean, the measures that she took, and I was very, had a wow moment. I'm like that. She's actually doing the parenting. It's essentially what I'm hearing you say is like, there's some parenting and there's some kind of bumpers that need to go around some of the things that aren't being done in society. You just kind of let going with the flow and let the society kind of finish teaching your kids. And she's actually taking a stance against it and saying, no, we pull them out for these reasons and safety and all kinds of stuff, which is really neat. But anyway, I understand his plight, and I think we've got some good answers here as far as things that could be done. And at the end of the day, it's up to us to do something. All right, let's jump into the next one. Again, it is we're on a roll with fixing society.
I would like to ask, how do we fix this? How do we relate to each other and sort of absorb each other in our lives and accept each other and create a better society to fix our issues?
I like that because it kind of says what you were saying in the line at TSA. You have 20, 30 people, nobody's talking to each other. And so he's saying the same. How do we fix it? How do we fix society? One of his, and he's 21 probably. I don't know how old he is, but one of his observations is that we're not a community anymore. That we don't do things because we're so isolated in our, again, just as people. So his concern was, how do we change that? What do we do to change that?
Probably more social media. That would help.
You said more social media.
I think awareness is the first step.
Right.
When you have Gen Z themselves aware of the issues and saying, okay, this is what was built before we got here. We're into this system, and now the communities aren't as close as they used to be.
See, I think we have a major problem. We had COVID that shut down the universe, right? And everyone was communicating via tech, via everything, right? And then companies changed the way people went to work, and you work from home. Maybe we just don't get back to that in this round of generation because we were all so stunned. And now we've all been addicted by, there's no way like most people can go to a normal office anymore.
Right.
They're just not going to do it.
At least not 100%.
Yeah, never like what they were. So like, and at the same time, you have this AI thing starting while we're all trapped at home with technology that helped us, right? You can't say it didn't help. Again, you got to choose your poison because we wouldn't have been able to work without it, right? Imagine that COVID hit in 1980. Who's going to tell you not to go outside? I mean, there's so many things I could talk about with that. But moral of the story is that I don't know, because you can't fix society after what we've been through. You can't have tech. You're not going to take people's tech away. That's their home. That's their North Star. That's their home base, right? You're not taking my Instagram or my Facebook after you locked me at home, and now I don't want to look up at you. And I think that's what's happened. Yeah. I want to look down here.
Yeah.
You can't go back, but I don't know you can't move forward.
You can move forward, but it's not going to be for like
when you say
years.
You can't fix it, you mean we can't go back, which I
don't think there's a way for society to eliminate or back away from the
Right.
technology.
No, I'd agree. The cat's out the bag.
Yeah,
There's
Right.
nothing to
gone.
be done. Right. It's like
So I
putting
don't
the
know
internet
if I,
back.
and again, being at home, like I was telling Julie over here, like when we landed at Austin, the last time I've been in Austin, it was COVID. It was 2021. I had the whole airport to myself.
Mhm.
It's amazing. Days. Bring back COVID.
Yeah.
No.
You don't hear
Says no teenager anyway.
You don't hear
Yeah,
that.
but
You don't hear that often.
no, but at the end of the day, I think that's it. Like you're not gonna make the world. That sounds like a not real. Like how are we gonna fix society? It's like that's not impossible.
Right.
But we can fix
Well,
ourselves.
you can fix it going
individually.
forward. You just can't. You can't put it back.
Yeah, but you can never put the toothpaste back in the bottle, right?
Right, but you had gambling, and we found ways to make that work in society without completely destroying everything. The
I
question is,
agree.
I suppose, what do we do with the new tech as we have it, right? Do we regulate it? Do we...
And I'm not sure. that he
Well, I
talked-
mean, but at the end of the day, like let's just throw this at you real quick.
Sure.
Prohibition happened,
I
right?
was going to say that.
And then now you got 95 vodka companies. So what happens? Reverse that. So you curb prohibition, the tech from the kids. Now you're going to have 95 different AI apps in the future if you hold them back. I just think you let them roll with it. I was going to say something last night to Julie because we were up in beautiful Aspen, Colorado. I'll mess with your mind on this one. You want to go somewhere where these Generation Zs aren't asking yet? Okay, let's talk about the evolution flow of the human, right? In the last 5 years, how much smarter we've gotten through AI and all this stuff. I mean, down the street, what Elon's doing, right? He's building a space factory here in Austin. So the advancement of human, like the speed of our brain, how smarter we've gotten. Let's talk about the hummingbird, right? Did that hummingbird also get smarter over like the last 5 to 10 years? Like, you know what I'm saying? As evolution of not just human, but even the insect. Is that red ant smarter than 5 years ago because we as humans got smarter? Like, did that monkey get smarter now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought about this last night in Aspen. I'm like, is that bird smarter than it was 5 years ago?
You're blowing his mind. Look at the smoke coming out of his
I
ears.
don't have good answers.
I don't either, but there's got like, is there a
Someone
giraffe?
needs to ask.
Is there a
Someone
giraffe?
needs to ask the hummingbird.
I don't
Is
know.
there-
I don't know, but I will tell you. You see cat videos on Instagram, and those cats are smart.
They
You're like,
are.
how did you get so smart?
So, only reason why I'm bringing it up is because AI does get smarter.
Yeah, I've used GPT since it came out, and it makes me so much faster at what I do. I have more time. It's enabling me to be more efficient at what I do, and by doing that, so it's not. It's kind of like have you watched Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
And Jarvis. So he's never afraid of Jarvis. He just uses Jarvis as a tool and to do all the mundane. Go look this up for me. Go find this for me. Go turn this up for me. Do the things that are just like a really well trained monkey would do.
I
right?
totally 100%.
And the creator is still the creator. I mean, he's still the guy.
I got it.
But so that's how I use it. Is the idea. AI is not creative. AI just does mundane things because it doesn't have the creative powers that humans do.
This is a great time to plug what Founding Up is doing. Not no skeevy's used car salesman way,
Yeah,
but
let's
in
hear
like
it.
a
a really like
Leon, you want to give it a shot? You want me to
like simple though, like
simple.
we're in season 2.
elevator.
I mean,
All
I
right,
think it's
so-
time.
Simple.
Because I don't
So-
know, I'm coming in
Lift
the
the
So
curtain.
here you are doing 130 miles an hour through New York, right?
hmm
And you don't know, and you know where you are vaguely because you got GPS, and you know where you're going,
hmm
right? Beyond drag racing this cop, but you don't have to know with Google Maps or Waze or whatever anything about New York or the layout of the roads or anything. All it does is go left, go right, go straight, do a burnout, pull some donuts, go left, right? What if you could have that simplicity for life? What if you could take an incredibly complicated decision like, what am I going to be? And turn that into, and this is what mentorship really does, it really helps you turn an incredibly complicated decision into a series of easy choices where the outcomes are obvious. That's Ways for Life. That's what we're doing. Most people know roughly where they are. They know where they want to be. They don't really want to even know about what that ecosystem where they have to navigate is. They just want to get to point B in a reasonable amount of time in an achievable way. And so, Waze or Google Maps or whatever you want, not only does it have the map inside of it so you don't have to worry about that, it's telling you where the traffic jams are, it's telling you where the speed traps are, right? And so it's using a combination of user data and all of that mapping to get you from A to B without you having to think about it. Go left, go right, go straight. And then boom, you're there, in a reasonable, timely manner. And that's what we're building.
So we're doing it for life. We're trying to help you find your passion first, and then the best way to get there, and showing you what industries that tie into align with you, and then adjacent careers, right? So like a dating app, you pick left,
Got
pick
it.
right, figure out which one you like, and then we'll show you how to get there.
Because we can be like, hey, you want to be on Wall Street, but have you considered a career in private jets? Because it turns out those are actually kind of side by, those
They're
are
correlated.
adjacent.
They're
Yeah.
correlated in a way.
Right.
Yeah, Jason. Thanks for that. But yeah, that's
Sure.
that. Did that kind of explain it for you? Did that make some?
Yeah, I got it. I keep leaning in on I like the Jarvis, the way Natalie said it the other day. Jarvis is the easiest for me to understand. And then you're a 16-year-old girl and you want to be a veterinarian, right?
Right.
So
Let's talk. Yeah. What does that look like? Let's talk about that.
how do we
What
get
else
there?
could you do? And
Yeah.
who else could you be? Because there's
Got it.
currently not really anyone that does that. There's no one out. There's no magical mentor that has.
no,
this
it's like it's
beautiful
a guidance
360
counselor
view,
on
right?
steroids, basically.
Right.
A life guidance counselor through an AI app.
Yep.
I got it.
Yep.
And I think you have to find that mentors could have different layers, right?
Mhm.
There's that ultimate life mentor, because I have them, right? Like one just life, one is only business, one's a little bit of both. And then the mentor stuff, like again, no mentor was ever going to tell me how to do a skincare line.
Right.
I just happen to know the right person that does the skincare line. You find that kind of person. And I think no mentorship's going to teach you that. I think that's just how hopefully these technology driven kids start to pick up on insight and instinct.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing from what you just said is your experience, your mentors that have taught you to think differently, think bigger, right? Not think in a box.
Yeah. I mean, never think in the box.
And so here you are, you're not afraid to jump into something that's completely out of your wheelhouse because it's the same process. I mean, you've connected the dots because of all the people you've talked about. So you start thinking in a just kind of different dimension, right?
Yep.
And so a lot of times, when you're younger, you think in one dimension because it's like go to school, go to college, and get a job. That's the singular dimension. As mentorship comes into your life, it starts becoming multiple dimensions. Now I can see things in 3D, and I can do this and do this. So no one says there's no written rule that says I can only do one thing. As a matter of fact, to your point, most mentors that I know have 3 or 4 or 5 sources of income, and they can juggle it all, and it's not a big deal because it's kind of the same thought process that goes into it. So that's what I'm hearing about this line. And you saw something that Julie, I'm bad with names, but I remember that one. So Julie,
Yeah, that was good. Actually, I would never.
you remember. Was passionate about, and you saw the genius in that, and you're like, how can I apply your genius and what you've learned in mentorship and put the two together and create something? So yeah, I think with that note, we're at 5:30, and I think happy hour is calling us.
Yeah,
So
All right.
100%.
why don't
That was
we
fun.
Remember that, friends. Always find time to relax.
It's right.
Yeah.
So the whole thing that we were actually talking about, community, we're going to go have some community, and I invite everybody to go do the same.
Let's do it.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
That's a wrap for Season 2, Episode 1 of Uncharted Your Sidekick for Life. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Mike Giordano, exploring how mentorship, innovative thinking, and adaptability can shape your career paths. Remember, life is a series of choices and learning experiences, and our goal is to help you navigate them with confidence and clarity. If you would like to participate as a Gen Z guest or mentor, visit our site at foundingup.com or check out the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast platform. Special thanks to all who make this podcast possible, including Katie Nolan, Nolan Calicod, and Anais Schmidt. And as always, keep pushing forward, stay curious, and don't be afraid to explore the uncharted. See you next episode.